Välkommen till Encore Prelude, som är en podd om och för banden som ska spela på Encore Music Club i Sundbyberg. Chip Snuff har hållit Enuff Z'Nuff i liv i över 40 år, som den enda kvarvarande originalmedlemmen och numera även som sångare. Bandet spelade in sin debut på 80-talet live i studion mitt i natten och blev upptäckta av bland annat Doc McGhee, som råkade ha 2 av deras kassettband i bilen. Debuten gav dem New Thing, som låg på MTV och topplistorna i 60 veckor, och Fly High Michelle, som klättrade till 43:e plats på Billboard. Skivbolaget drog sen i handbromsen inför en 3:e singel och satte igång nästa platta istället. Och den plattan blev min stora favorit, som heter Strength. Den kom dock ut rakt i grunge-vågen. Vi pratar om varför bandet hamnade mellan stolarna trots en så stark skiva. Vi pratar om Rick Nielsen från Cheap Trick, som spelade gitarr på Paraphernalia, och Ricks son Dax, som spelat trummor på flera av Enuff Z'Nuff senaste skivor. Chip berättar också om bandets nuvarande lineup, om hur han själv till slut tog över sången efter Donnie Vie, och delvis inspirerad av hur Queen delade på mikrofonerna. Vi pratar om Beatles coverplattan Hard Rock Nite, om varför de valde bort de stora hitlåtarna, och om de neonfärgade bassträngarna som blivit lite av hans signum på scenen. Och så pratar vi om att Chip faktiskt har spelat i Sverige förut, med några historier därifrån som bandet fortfarande påminner om, som ni får höra. Den 11 september kommer han till Encore. Det är dagen efter hans egen födelsedag och mitt i en turné utan några lediga dagar. Intervjun görs såklart på engelska. Mitt namn är Magnus Engdahl, och kom ihåg att det är här du först hör snacket. Sen går du och upplever musiken. Här är Chip Snuff i Enuff Z'Nuff. Right, so I'm here with Chip Snuff from the legendary Enuff Z'Nuff, who's coming over to Encore Music Club in September to play a show there, which is part of a European tour, or UK, Scandinavia, I should say, because I think you play in Norway as well on the run here. But the first question I got to ask you, because it's Europe, your real name, or not your stage name, but is Rybarski, is that right? Which is kind of Polish?
I was born with that last name, yeah, but I've always been Chip since I've been a baby. When I came out of my mom's womb, Grandma said, he's a chip off the old block, so I've never used my father's surname, but very proud of it. And I got 2 names, just like Nikki Sixx does, or any other rock star.
Yeah.
So it's who cares who drives that bus? Let's go to that party. And that's what it's all about for me. So I get a chance to come over and play Europe, and they all know me as Chip Z'Nuff, and that's my name. So
that's it. Yeah. All right. So you guys, you started that with Donnie back in the 80s. When you kicked it off, were you actually trying to do like a Beatles meets hard rock? Was that a plan, or was it just the fact that's how you sound? Or
it's just how we sound. Obviously, we both had influences, and I've said it a million times. I'll say it again. Show me a band without influences, and I'll show you a band who hasn't written one note.
That's true. That's true.
Well, we just put the band together, and we had songs, and he had Brink's truck full of ideas along with myself, and we had a great chemistry together. And we put our influences into a blender, and we came up with a nice little potpourri of songs, and it built. They weren't all great in the beginning, but we knew we had something special, and we turned our friends onto it, and it moved them. So that was the catalyst for us to move forward. We love working together. We're closer than brothers, so we're both completely opposite. He comes from a broken family. I come from a family where I was really lucky to have a mother and father that were together and focused. We just took him right into the family and adopted him as one of us, and we treated him accordingly.
Yeah.
And we just started recording songs.
Yeah.
And they got better and better. Pretty much how it, for the first 5 years of our relationship, we rehearse at this little place in Blue Island, where coincidentally I still live right now.
Yeah.
And the
Okay.
people were so nice out there. Everybody wanted to help us out. Everybody wanted to give us a hand. We recorded a
Hmm.
bunch of songs. It was just Donnie and myself, and I played drums and I played
Okay.
bass. And
All right.
we had a little 4-track recorder, and we bounced tracks around. We didn't know what we were doing. And Donnie would sing at the same time as myself. So there was one track of just vocals. And then we put lead guitar on there as well. We put it all together. And even though it was a hodgepodge of parts that were mixed and put together accordingly, you could tell there was something that magical that was happening. At least we thought there
Hmm.
was. But it
Yeah.
still took us 5 years to get anybody to be interested in even listening to us, because
Mm.
outside of our friends, it was a whole different scene in the music business. We weren't exactly a metal band. We certainly weren't just hard rock or a
No.
pop band. It was almost as if we were, without tooting my horn, Enuff Z'Nuff was more like an alternative band back then.
Mm.
But we because we put all those elements together, and journalists and people in the business still didn't know how to categorize the group.
What,
But after going to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, first meeting Bob Brigham and his partner, and talking them into letting us use the recording studio, which everybody was making records back in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, back in the mid '80s. We had Cheap Trick and Survivor and T'Pau,
hmm.
Skid Row. We eventually caught Doc McGhee's ear, and Doc says,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
really
right.
like the band, and
Yeah.
he took us under his wing, and that really started the ball rolling for Enuff Z'Nuff, and that was mid to late '80s.
Yeah. I heard he had a demo cassette or whatever in his car.
Yeah, Doc just so happened to have he was staying out there with us with his brother Scott, and he had 3 cassette tapes in his car. He said, and 2 of them were Enuff Z'Nuff,
Oh,
and
there you go.
we were pretty smitten by that. And at the
Yeah.
time, we were getting hired to sing in the studio. We had these guys coming by. They're called the Beach and Black Masters Club. My old buddy Dan Davis, who used to work with my manager at the time, Bob Brigham, and they'd come by every single night with a Brinks truck full of drugs and alcohol and extracurricular activity. So it wasn't like we were super focused. But when we came to the music and we were plugged into that, into the gear they had in the studio, and that was when all the other bands left. By the way, they all would be finished recording, and we started about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh
We
wow.
were serious
Okay.
about our craft. We knew what we had to do. We played all the songs in that first album. That was all live. We'd count it off, and drums, bass, guitar, all together in the studio live playing, which is most bands don't do that anymore.
No, that's true.
And then from there, then we would go back and we tweak things up. But if you listen to the first Enuff Z'Nuff album, there's not many overdubs. It's pretty much the band in the studio playing live,
All right.
and
Okay.
then a small little parts that we go in there and tweak up just to
Okay.
make sure the record was how we heard it. Donnie and I, because Donnie and I were the ones that were producing the record. Even though we were jacked
Yeah.
up, we were still focused on the task at hand, which was trying to make a great record. We thought we had
Hmm.
something special. This is those 10 songs on that first Enuff Z'Nuff album was just a part of what we were writing. We probably had 100 songs at that time. We were a
Oh
writing
wow.
machine, maybe more. But those were
Yeah.
those were the 10 that Derek Shulman, our president of the record company, said he thought would be our best representation.
And did they? Because I know. I mean, you like you said, you ended up. They didn't know where to put you. Did you ever hear anything from the labels about that and back in those days that you needed to sound harder or less melodic, or
No,
would they
the
let you
labels
just be you?
were record companies were very kind back then. They'd send a letter to
Hmm.
you. There was no internet for that at that time, so they'd send a letter
No.
to you saying, upon listening to your stuff, we feel that it would we didn't hear what we thought would fit with our label, but we wish you the best of luck. Or
Hmm.
after listening to the record, we thought that maybe might be a different home for you guys. In the meantime, keep it up, and wish you best wishes moving
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
They were
Okay.
well, it's very obviously boilerplate, but they're very kind to
Yeah. Yeah.
labels. And
Okay.
then once we switched and hired Derek Frigo to play guitar in the band,
No. Yeah.
our fortunes changed exponentially. where all the labels wanted to sign the band. It's really
Mm.
strange how the music business works, okay? Because
Yes.
those songs were recorded just like you hear them on the record when we had a different guitar player that was Alex Kane, who plays in Life, Sex, and Death. He played in the demos.
Mhm.
And then we just stripped his guitar off it and put Derek in there. And then Donnie played a lot of those rhythm parts too. And bingo, immediately had a deal. So I just can't explain how things happen. I will say, though, Derek was a big part of the sound. I don't want to
Yeah.
downplay that whatsoever. And
No.
if it wasn't for his guitar playing on that record and his unique approach to lead guitar, especially, we might not be having this conversation right now. He really
No.
really changed the band in a lot of ways, and most for the good. And Johnny and I always looked at our band as a group that just had, we were right about writing songs about everyday experiences that we went through in life. But
Yeah.
when Derek came in there, he gave it that little edge that it needed at the time in the music business, where there were a lot of the labels and MTV and the powers that be were focusing on lead guitar players. And
Yeah.
Donnie
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
sing
that
like
was
a
back
cat
in
in
those days.
Whitesnake
Yeah.
or Sebastian Bach or
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
those bands, but it doesn't matter. He's got a beautiful set of pipes, and
Yeah.
eventually we're going to get recognized. But I think Derek, with his bombastic approach, that really gave us the edge that we needed to uh, find a label that would be interested in giving us a chance.
Yeah. And then you did, which is my favorite. So Strength came out in '91, which is one of my. I played it all the time. I can tell you. I love that record, but it came out kind of at the same time as the whole scene was changing. Was that something that you did you feel it happening in real time, or is it only in hindsight kind of thing? Or
Well, we knew we had something great. Donnie and I discussed the second record. We didn't think it was time to put the second record out. We knew
okay,
New Thing was a hit song at 60 weeks on MTV on the charts. Then Fly Michelle came out after that. We were like, okay, this one even did better. Went, in the top, I think it was 43 on Billboard. And we were looking at the numbers, listening to the record company. We didn't know the business very well. We just knew we had some good songs. And we thought, well, the next single is going to be even a bigger hit. And that was For Now. And they
mm-hmm.
made a PR CD, and they were getting ready to release it to all the radio stations. And the label said, we're going to pull a string right now, pull a plug. We're going to start the next record. And we thought we had another single coming out off the debut. And they said, the first two were hits, but they weren't smash hits. And we
Mm-hmm.
felt that instead of trying to push the envelope to all the radio stations, let's just give them a brand new, fresh record. That was their
Okay,
first mistake. They should have went to another single, because For Now
okay,
was, I think Donnie and I wrote a really good one right there. And it should have got a chance. It was more along the lines of Squeeze meets Cheap Trick, maybe. It was
okay,
certainly poppy. Uh, I don't know. Who knows the inside of how record companies think? But obviously, behind closed doors, they would had a different change of the guard, a different game plan. And that
yeah,
record,
yeah, yeah.
it was a gold record. Although to this day, Donnie and I have never received a gold record,
Oh
and no
really?
one's given us anything. But the record company said it was gold, but we're still going to pull a plug, and the next one will be the big one. So then we thought, well, it'll be our Sgt. Pepper's. And behind closed doors, Donnie and I discussed doing a double record, being the first band to come out with a sophomore release with 20-something songs.
Mm-hmm.
So without any
But
record company suggestions or involvement, we went into the studio in Los Angeles and started recording the Strength record. And I think we were at 1-on-1, and then we went over to Music Grinder. And it just so happened that instead of recording the 20 songs, we recorded 32 songs. Didn't
oh
say
wow,
nothing to the record
okay,
company. And the whole time we were pretty straight and pretty focused. We'd get to the studio. We'd wake up in the morning. We were staying at the Oakwoods on Barham. We'd get up in the morning, and the gang would take a car over to the studio. We would record from 11 o'clock in the morning to midnight every single day, 6 days a week, I should say. The
oh
seventh
wow,
day we'd get one day off because the
yeah,
engineer needed a little break. Paul Lanny, fabulous engineer, by the way. Guy can
mm-hmm.
play, sing, write. He's just had a wonderful sense of balance. So we recorded pretty focused then, just it was hippie soup and smoking a lot of pot. By the way, pot was like $500 an ounce back then. I remember getting reprimanded by the business managers because we were buying too much pot, they thought. But they didn't even understand. That pot kept us away from everything else, which is cocaine and alcohol, and so be it. So,
All right.
and
Yeah.
we were pretty focused. In one room, Donnie and I would be recording songs, and the other room would be tracking. It was just a great time. It really was.
Mhm.
We were full of piss and vigor and healthy, and we had a great relationship with MTV, and they were waiting for the next record. And we thought this is going to be huge for us. And then finally, Derek Shulman showed up to Los Angeles to hear what we were recording, and he sat there for 3 hours listening to the songs. And when we were finished, he said, "Well, guys, we got a good problem." We said, "Problem? What's wrong?" He says, "Too much information here. It's too much for the fans to grab onto and hold on to and understand. It's just way too many songs."
All right.
And then we said, "What do you expect?" And he said, "Well, maybe it's better if we just cut it down." So we ended up cutting it down to the 14 or 15 songs, and kept the rest of the stuff for later on, which was good because obviously those songs we wanted people to hear them. But that was our initial thoughts, was 20 something song record, and then when the record came out, there was a change in the garden of music business. It was right at the time when Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains all came out, all good bands. Yeah, and some of the cats are my good friends. I was rooting for them. But bands like Enuff Z'Nuff and the Poisons and the White Snakes and Cheap Tricks and the Jellyfishes we all took an ass whipping because we weren't grunge, and we had a certain look about us, and obviously appearance didn't matter because you don't get a second chance on a first impression. However, when you put the record on a turntable or listen to a CD or turn the radio on, you don't see chicks shaking their asses and you see smoke machines. You just hear about the music. We knew we had something really special, but we didn't know exactly what lane to be in. And so we just sat and waited until there was a tour, and we finally jumped onto a tour with Nelson's, following around Guns N' Roses and Skid Row. And we had some legs then. We were in considerable debt, obviously. It cost us a Brinks truck to make that rent money, but we certainly had a chance. And for any band that's out there that's making music for a living, there's really no room for error. One little boo-boo is going to cause you a lot of problems. And for us, it was always, Herbie Herbert said it best, our old manager. He says it's always 30 steps forward and 40 steps back for Enuff Z'Nuff. And we got caught between a rock and a hard place. That's it. It was very, very challenging at the time. We still went out and toured, and we did all the big TV shows, the David Lettermans and the Howard Sterns and anything we could do. We got the big tour playing arenas, but it just wasn't enough to lift the black cloud that was following us.
No. Well, it's too bad because it's a brilliant album. And like I said, it's one of my favorites from that area. I played it to death. You have called Rick Nelson and Paul McCartney direct influences, and Rick, he plays on, was it Paraphernalia? Is that how you play in '99?
Yeah. So it's a street vernacular for drugs.
What? Okay. What did you take from him? Not just as a fan, but as a working musician when you sat across from him.
Actually, same work ethic as Enuff Z'Nuff, basically. Out there, you write the songs, you record them, and then you go out there and you play them in front of the fans.
Yeah.
And Rick Nielsen always got a great work ethic. He's got a studio in his house in Rockford, Illinois. And he'd do a lot of demos out there. And Robin would come out there as well. And Robin's a good writer too, underrated because Rick is such a fabulous writer that it kind of slips back and people just think Robin's just a singer. But I wrote with him before at his house. The guy's got good chops. He's got wonderful ideas. When I watched Rick, I just looked at him. I said, "Here's a guy that hasn't stopped in 40 years or 50 years, and I want to grab anything I can from him." But of course, he did a lot of stuff with other artists, most notably John Lennon. I thought that was pretty special. Even Lennon knew that the Beatles were a big influence on Cheap Trick, and along with a bunch of other bands.
Yeah.
But Rick just shows up, plays the songs. He's got wonderful ideas. His sense of balance is second to none. He not only can he write songs, but he's a wonderful singer too. And
Yeah.
I think that he just came down. He knew what Enuff Z'Nuff was doing. We didn't have to tell him or we didn't have to put any handcuffs on him whatsoever. We just gave him the guitar and
Okay.
plugged him into an amplifier and just let him play. And that's what he did. And boy, came up with some great stuff. And it wasn't it really, when Rick was playing guitar in the studio, it was during a time where we were certainly going through a lot of upheavals. And
Okay.
it was my idea to get Rick down there. Donnie didn't even know about it. He showed up at the studio and seen Nielsen. He walked in the room and he goes, "Nah, what are you doing here?" And Nielsen goes, "I was just getting ready to ask you the same thing." It was pretty funny. And Donnie left the studio, just as a joke, but he was definitely embarrassed. But we had
Okay.
J.Y. from Styx come down, and Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins was kind enough to come down and play. And
Oh
we were
yeah,
just
that's
trying
true.
to
On
find our
that album.
way at that time because we went through so many problems, and we were it was like a gunshot when we were trying to find enough bandages to stop the bleeding. And we thought
Mm-hmm.
bringing those cats down to the studio, at least I thought, bringing the great musicians that have sold collectively 100 million records down to Enuff
Yeah.
Z'Nuff session would help show the fans and elevate us a little bit better than in what place that we were in at the time. And it
Mm-hmm.
certainly did. Record came out. It did very well for us. People were talking about it. We went out on a
Mm-hmm.
tour immediately, but I remember reading an article, which I shouldn't do. I don't recommend that to anybody to read your own articles on bands, on your records when they come out. But I was reading a journalist, a very powerful journalist. His name was uh, Mark Blackwell, and he said, "Good guy, good writer." He says, "This is another fabulous record by Enuff Z'Nuff, but will it be enough to lift the cloud that's following them?" And this
Yeah.
guy knows us pretty well right now. And we went out and pushed that record as best we could, but it didn't chart for us. We shot videos. The videos were very well put together. We didn't have much money or much of a budget. And the band was having fun making records, and we were still at Chicago Recording Company. We'd leave the studio, and Smashing Pumpkins would come in, or Cheap Trick, or Pearl Jam, or all the big bands would come in there to start recording. So we felt like we were in the right track, but at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it was we were confusing motion with progress.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, the interesting thing about Rick Nelson is his son, right? Dax, who's been playing on your records, or is he out with you as well?
No, Dax is out with Cheap Trick right now. He was doing some stuff with
Okay.
Portugal the Man for a little while. I know that. He does different gigs when he's got time because he's got the same work ethic as his father. He likes to get out there and play
Mm-hmm.
shows. But I was not. I called Rick, couldn't get a hold of him. Changed his number. I was panicking. I went to go see Cheap Trick at a show. Dax was there. I did talk to Rick that day.
Okay.
He was kind beyond belief, but I said, "Man, I'd like to get Dax to play drums on some stuff." He goes, "Yeah, why don't you ask him?" So I did. And
Okay.
Dax ended up coming down to Chicago and playing a 10-song record in like a day or two. It's
Oh
incredible.
wow.
He came down
Yeah.
there and bashed out. And then there was some good songs on that. I think he played on Perfectly Imperfect, my solo record, and he also did some stuff on Brainwashed Generation and Finer Than Sin. I thought it was just good. I mean, on every record, he was coming down and playing just incredible drums. And he had wonderful
Mm-hmm.
ideas, arrangement-wise, too. I didn't want to touch him. I thought,
Okay.
this guy's,
Oh, cool.
he's a six-trick pony like his old man.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then the last record we did, I got him to come down on that record, too, as well, which is called Extra Cherries. And
Oh yeah.
that
That was
one's done very well
25,
for us
right?
as well. So we
Yeah.
got a nice little chemistry with Dax Nielsen. When he's not busy, I try to get him, but the fact of the matter is, Cheap Trick is just they put All Washed Up, their latest record out, and they're out there working
Yeah.
their asses off, playing tons of shows.
Yeah.
So, and we're doing the same. We're playing gigs as well. So I got Brent
Yeah.
Arsmith, formerly of White Lion, playing drums with us right now, and
All
he's been
right.
with us for a
Okay.
few. He's been with us for a few years. He's a killer too, and they're both
Yeah.
friends. So it's nice that everybody gets a chance to move forward and go out and play shows. And that's what it's all about. We only get so much time here on Earth. So
Yeah, it's true.
the indelible mark that we've left so far has been a band that has a Brinks truck full of songs, and they're not filler. There's some good stuff on there.
Yeah.
Let's face it. There's so many bands out there. Everybody's making records. There's too much product, not enough demand.
Oh, there's too much music out there. Oh, well, not too much, but you're overwhelmed with all the stuff. I got to ask you about the Beatles track then. So you did the Hard Rock Nite 2021, which is a Beatles cover album. How did you pick which songs to cover? Or did you leave anything out that you wanted to put in there?
Well, there's a Grinch truck full of songs we could have done because let's face it, the Beatles have such a great catalog of material. You just can't go
Yeah,
wrong. But we
indeed.
needed to get
Yeah.
permission first.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
we
okay.
we focused on when the Beatles were experimenting and they were out in 67 through 70 when they were doing drugs
Okay.
and burned the candle at both ends, and there was a little dissension in the camp. I think there's a lot of good songs happening from that during that time with the band. And
Yeah.
they certainly were going through some upheaval stuff, which we weren't there to witness it, but you read the stories and go, it's a real drag that the band couldn't get on the same page because they were so brilliant. So we just picked out songs that weren't big smash hits, but were definitely well known, and
Yeah.
that we thought we would translate. Because remember, the Beatle record, we weren't trying to beat the Beatles whatsoever. The record is
No.
a reinterpretation of Beatles songs,
Yeah.
what we see through our eyes and through our ears.
Yeah.
So we went in
Yeah.
the studio, and some of those songs we did years and years ago with the original band. For instance, Revolution was one that we did a long time ago, and Dear Prudence
Hmm.
as well, where we threw those in the set in the first record when we had to play longer than an hour because we only had a 10-song record. That's all we
Yeah.
rehearsed
Okay.
with. So we'd throw a couple of those Beatles songs, and the fans all thought it was Enuff Z'Nuff songs, by the way. The band thought they were Enuff Z'Nuff songs because Derek and Vicky, they weren't real big Beatle fans, you know. Then later on,
Okay.
they found out, the Beatles are a wonderful band with great songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we did that
Yeah.
record, and we had to get permission from Ringo and Paul to put the record out.
Okay. Was that difficult?
They were getting all the money for it. We just wanted to put the record
Oh,
out there and use those songs for live performances, and it really did well for us. It was on Frontier's record, by the way, and it
Oh, yeah.
sold out.
Oh,
We only made
Italian.
5,000 records. It sold out right away. I can't even get a copy of that record right
Okay.
now. But the good thing
Oh,
was we were able to take those songs and do them in concert. And so when you come out
okay.
to see Enuff Z'Nuff, we will play a couple of songs on that record along with the hits that we had in the past. So it turns
Yeah.
into a nice little potpourri of celebrating
Okay.
songs that are recognizable. Because even the biggest bands
Yeah.
that we go see, I just seen Limp Bizkit recently, and who else is out there? I went out and seen Rush was just in town playing. They're fabulous, by the way. Annika now is great. And Foo Fighters just played Soldier Field. The Pumpkins were just at Lollapalooza. Those cats throw their hit songs in every single night. It's
Yeah.
a celebration of their catalog. So if you
Yeah.
don't play the hit songs, it just pisses off the fans beyond belief, and it
Yeah.
pisses
Yeah.
off the band too. You know, we wrote
Yeah.
those songs for a reason, so we can play them in front of you
Yeah.
guys. So
Yeah.
when you see us in Sweden, we'll be playing songs off a lot of those records.
Cool. Oh, looking forward to that. And I got to get into. I mean, obviously you're a great bass player, and you play I think your Fender Precision, right? The 4-string you got, but you've been playing 8 strings and 12 strings and stuff like that. What pulls you towards those unusual ones, or is it a
Yeah, in
studio
the early
thing, or
days, I
you've
did
done
that.
it live?
You know, the reason I was playing the 12-string bass in the early days is because we're 3-piece, and it's tuned with guitar and bass strings both. So I help cover a lot of area and fill up a lot of room with that 12-string bass, and it's definitely
Okay, got
challenging
it.
to play. Not many guys
Yeah, I
play
can
it
imagine.
besides Tom Peterson from Cheap Trick. Uh,
Yeah.
King's X obviously does. Doug Pinnick plays a 12-string.
Mhm.
And there's a couple other guys, but not many guys want to do it because obviously it's challenging. It's hard. You need a tech to help keep
Yeah.
stuff in tune when you're
Oh, you got
out there on
yeah,
tour.
indeed, right? That's
Yeah,
a
but
lot of strings
so
to
I've been
tune.
using a 4-string a lot on the last tours, but I may bring the 12-string out again. I've got 4 or 5 of them actually. A
Okay.
couple of the Joel Hamer, Joel, for Hamer bass guitars.
Yeah.
Joel Danzig has that. He had that company for years, and I got a good 3 or 4 basses from him. So those old Hamers, they hold up. They're really good. And the Waterstone has them too. My buddy at Old Waterstone turned me on to a couple of 12 strings too. I think they're fantastic. Peterson's got some great ones right now too. I was checking them out the last time we played together, where we had coincidentally did a Beatles set with Cheap Trick. It was great.
Mm.
And we didn't open with Magical Mystery Tour that night because Cheap Trick opened with it, so we were playing some Beatle Fest together. But the 12 string serves its purpose, and maybe in the future I'll pull it out again. My old manager and our executive producer over in DeKalb have those basses right now, keeping them safe for me. So we'll
Okay,
see if we can pull them
cool.
out later on because they certainly sound great. Maybe I'll use it on the next Enuff Z'Nuff album, which I'm recording right now.
Okay. All right. All right. And while live, I also noticed that you have these multicolored bass strings, which I've been thinking about myself, to be honest, but now it's kind of become your thing. Is apart from, because I haven't tried them, is apart from looking cool, is there anything that's weird about them? Is the tone different, or is it exactly like normal strings, or have you noticed
No, it's
anything?
for years I used roto sounds, and I went over and started using these GNR strings. I think I think it's a great string, and it's a round wound string. They last long, and you can see from far away because they're neon. It's an interesting string.
Okay.
They sound great. I think that it's got the Geddy Lee tone to it when you first put them on. They're fresh and new. They really cut
Yeah,
through
yeah,
well. I've
yeah.
had a great success with them. I use them on the records as well. The company's been good to me.
Oh, really?
I don't
Okay.
see me. I don't see me on their list of bass players that use their stuff. But
Okay.
who cares who's driving that bus? I just want to, as long as I can get the strings and put them on the bass and get that tone, I'm happy about it. And I've been using them on guitar as well too.
Oh, really? Did they have? I didn't know. I
it's a
didn't
good
know.
company.
Okay. Cool. So, and how about when I mean, you sing and you play bass, obviously, and that can sometimes be a bit of a challenge because you got to have a split brain. But how was it to take over some of Donnie's vocals and stuff like that in the beginning, and playing at the same time? I mean, obviously you did the harmonies, I guess, early days, but verses
Yeah,
and
and
stuff
then
like
and
that.
later on in our career, after like 3 records or so, Donnie, who's the catalyst there, he pushed me to sing. Come on, you got to sing a couple songs
Okay.
on the record. And I guess we listened to Queen when we were younger, and Queen would do that where Roger Meadows Taylor, who's got a beautiful set of pipes, would sing a couple of Queen songs, and Brian May's got a nice voice as well.
Yeah,
So they would
indeed.
share the microphone, which I thought was nice. And of course, they sang all the harmonies together with Freddie. Maybe that was one of the reasons we did that. But I thought it was interesting. Excuse me, that when I had to take over, Donnie says, "Look, if you're going to continue Enuff Z'Nuff and sing these songs, at least I think you're the guy that should do it because you wrote and produced these songs with me and made these records. And at least when you get up on stage, the fans will know that it's Enuff Z'Nuff."
Yeah.
And that was a nice little endorsement from who I consider the quintessential singer of my generation. I think he's
Yeah.
terrific.
Yeah.
So
Right.
when I started playing shows at Enuff Z'Nuff, and I had a great band with me too, Tony Fennell from Ultravox came in, and he really helped a lot
Mm-hmm.
because he had a lot of confidence in me, and he thought that uh, the songs were great. He's always been a fan of the band from the early days because he was signed to Atco Records with Derek Shulman. So he really instilled a lot of energy into the band and a good shot in
Mm-hmm.
the arm. And I think that
Mm.
really helped us a lot. And I went out and got Dan Benjamin Hill to play drums, and I think that was the catalyst right there to where we can actually make a great record and then move forward. And, you never envision an ending. And of course, TL Torrey Stoffregan was our guitar player at the time. He was in and out of the band for a while, and
Yeah.
I always looked at that group as the next generation for Enuff Z'Nuff
Mm.
to carry the flag. And here we are now in 2026, and I got Brent Arsman playing drums from formerly of White Snake,
Yeah.
and I used to play with Live too. He's a great drummer, wonderful singer.
Yeah.
I got Luis
Yeah.
Cahill from Red Devil Vortex playing guitar, and he's he's a protege, he's a prodigy, he's just an incredible musician and a great writer as well. and
Yeah.
you have Jason Camino, formerly of the Nelsons, playing guitar. So
Hmm.
I think we have a nice little team right here, and I'm grateful for the time we get a chance to spend together and go out and tour and play these songs. I think these cats do a wonderful job, and when the fans come out and see the gigs, most of them say that it's the best they've seen the band in years. So
Okay,
I'm
cool.
excited about. That's why I'm taking the shows on the road. It certainly isn't to make any fucking money because there's not a Brinks truck full of chips to be made, especially touring over in your part of the world because with
Yeah, yeah,
flights and
no.
transportation, hotel rooms,
Yeah,
there's no money for anybody. I think we play it for the love. It's a labor of love for us,
yeah,
and maybe there's somebody out in the crowd that can help us to reach the next level. That's it.
yeah,
At the end of the day, and leave our indelible mark in every single town we play. And
yeah,
that's it. It really is.
yeah.
If you think it's about money, it's a shortcut to thinking.
Yeah, that's right. So when you're coming over here, are you, I mean, I guess you don't bring the backline. Are you renting it or are you relying on the venues or how do you do
Yeah,
that?
usually backline is provided in our contract with
Okay.
got a great agency that books us, and they know exactly how to maneuver. So a lot of these shows in the old days, Enuff Z'Nuff would fly our gear over there and just get in a big tour bus and go out and play. Buses are $2,000 a day. We won't be doing that. Although we
No.
did it a couple of years ago, it was because we had a buy-on band that bought the bus, and then we just shared it with them. Basically, touring around the van, and backlines provided at all the venues through the opening acts.
Okay.
And we
Yeah.
just plug it and play, and you can give you a show, and you can judge for yourself. Doesn't matter what gear we have, we're going to sound. As long as
Yeah.
there's a good sound guy out there, we'll be just fine.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
know the songs very
Yeah.
well. It's a great catalog of material. Can't go wrong there. And we
No.
show up every day bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to give you a great rock show. It's
Yeah.
not like the old days, jacked up. Guys wouldn't go on stage and stay in a bindle with them. There was tons of alcohol going around. We've curtailed that. We're in good shape. We're focused, and the task at hand is to leave an indelible mark in every single town, and we do. And you're going to get all the hits. You're going to get some of the B-side and C-side songs, and it's a real celebration of rock and roll. So you come out, you won't be disappointed because we're not mailing it in. It's really giving you everything we got because we don't know when the next time is we're going to be able to come out there and play a show again. So we really want it to be as great for you as it is for us.
Yeah. And is it your first time in Sweden? Have you played in Sweden before or?
No, we've played in Sweden before, festivals back in the 90s, excuse me.
Yeah. No.
And yeah, we were on tour in the early 2000s. I think we did Donington Download
Okay.
with Michael Monroe and Y&T, Dave Menike's Yesterday and Today, and AC/DC, and Alice Cooper, and those Stone Temple Pilots. Did a couple of shows out there. I think it was 2001. And then we came back and jumped on a tour with Faster Pussycat. We came through Sweden and played at one of the
Okay.
festivals. It was great. Played a couple of clubs
Yeah.
out there too. One place called
Okay.
Backstage, I think it was called,
Okay.
in
Oh,
Sweden.
yeah.
I remember we were
Yeah.
all in the bathroom. Alex Kane from Life, Sex, and Death was our road manager. I was in the hotel room after a show, and maybe 50 people showed up there. And it's like, came a long way to play for only 50 people, but the 50 loved it. And it was a
Yeah.
good gig, and the band sounded solid. We went back to the hotel, and we were smoking hashish in the bathroom in our hotel room. And Alex Kane came walking in, opened the door, and all the smoke billowed out of the bathroom, went right into the smoke alarm, and set the alarm off in the whole building. And I remember within minutes, I heard little kids in the hallway crying, "Amiga, what's that noise?" They were freaked out, and people were screaming and yelling. I'm like, "Oh, I can't believe we just did that." And Alex and everybody, of course, left the room. They were bummed out. And I went downstairs, and I went right to the fire trucks. There was 3 fire trucks out there and a couple ambulances and 150 people from the hotel. And I went right up to the officers, and I go, "Guys, it was my room. My wife was taking a shower, and it got steamy, and it set the alarm off. No one's smoking." And then they go, "Oh, okay, no problem." They went and checked my room, and everything was good. And we were able to get out of that. And I'll never smoke another hit of anything in a hotel room for the rest of my life. Because boy, the grief and the hell I took, and that was in Sweden, and the band still brings it up too. Yeah, I remember that day you guys were smoking hash in the bathroom. I go, guys, please, please, and keep. It's like bringing up. Remember when Grandpa passed away? No, I don't want to hear it. We don't want to talk about that. But I love your country. Great food out there. Wonderful people. Beautiful trim too, by the way.
Yep.
There was some kind of contest they were having down the street, and all these supermodels are walking around. I thought, boy, they really got it right over here in Sweden. Something's in the water because it's really, really good-looking people there. So I'm looking forward, and the whole band is looking forward to a couple of shows in Sweden, and then going over to Norway too. It's I like playing Oslo. Oslo's probably one of the richest places to go to in the world. I mean, a hamburger is $43 fucking.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous
one beer is like $20. It's ridiculous the price of everything there. But I've had good times over in Norway. We're playing a very popular place there, where a lot of national acts have played their venue, most notably Elvis Costello and Guns N' Roses. And so anytime we get a chance to share the stage with the big boys, that's exciting to me.
I always have one sequence which I call a different frequency, which is diving a bit deeper. So I'm going to try one on you. So after 40 years and some losses in the band and so on and reinventions, what does the band actually mean to you now? Is Enuff Z'Nuff a group of people, or is it something else that people pass through?
No, it's definitely a group of people. It started off with Derek, Vicky, Donnie, and myself, and it's grown into this huge historical pool of great musicians that have gotten on board and helped us out and done a wonderful job with the time that they're with the band. There's no hard feelings. There's no falling outs. The guys that came in there, I have nothing but respect for beyond belief. I see them on the street. It's hugs and kisses. Here it is. It's just the next rendition of the band here. These guys have been with me for quite a while now. I'm happy with the way the band sounds. Who knows what's next? There's no crystal ball right here, bro.
No, that's true.
I want to push the legacy of a band with a Brinks truck full of material, a potpourri of great songs. That we could go out there and play and maybe remind people how the band was in the old days and turn them on to what we are doing right now. And that's at the end of the day. It's an exciting time in my life to still be touring around the country. And I'm appreciative to the fans out there who have supported us throughout the years. It's not easy. There's a lot of stuff that's out there. I go out and push the new bands, by the way, all the time. I have my own radio station. I'm on iHeartRadio.
Oh, really?
I'm on Ciroc. So I'm always pushing the new stuff as well. And I want to see bands get their looked at and they're embraced by the audience that's out there in this day and age. And I see how things have changed. The landscape it's much different than it used to be, but there's really good new bands that are out there right now that trip my trigger. And I just hope that the fans get a chance to go out there and focus their attention. I'm a fan before I'm a musician, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I look at all the stuff that's out there, and there's a lot of bands that I really believe deserve a chance. The band Feel, I've been listening to them like a little baby Led Zeppelin band. I love a lot of pop stuff that's out there right now. Lemon Twigs, I think, are terrific. They sort of like they're kind of Beatlesque a little bit as well.
Okay.
Everybody knows about Dirty Honey and Vintage Trouble, and
that's right.
And the bands that have come out there, guys from Michigan, obviously. But for the most part, I just want to see groups that don't get an airplay and get a lot of chance to be heard, to get exposed by our station. And the Monsters of Rock over at iHeartRadio's a good station. Greta Van Fleet doing really well too. We broke those guys here in Chicago, 12 years ago, and now here they are playing arenas. It's nice to see if the catches on. They got good songs, and the catches on it rewards those bands and get a chance to go out and play shows.
Yeah,
like I've been doing for 40 years. It's really a miracle that we're still around after all the stuff that we went through. Honest to God.
It's a long time, for sure.
Yeah, and one of the reasons that we're still going is because we had some wonderful songs I'm told. I don't
Yeah.
want to sound unmodest. And we've never
Well, you do.
stopped. We just move forward, just keep putting new records out. So even though we'll be out playing shows on this tour and playing New Thing and Fly Michelle and Baby Loves You and the singles, you're going to get other tracks too from later on during our career.
Cool.
Heavy Metal will be in the set off our new record.
That's a very good song.
Stuff
Actually, I
off
like
Finer
that
Than
one.
Sin, and maybe we'll do some stuff off of Diamond Boy record. You know, we do
Okay.
Where'd You Go, or perhaps Diamond Boy. It's in the Beatle record as well. We'll play some stuff off there. We won't do anything off my solo records because there's enough material there with the Enuff Z'Nuff catalog, and that's what we're billed as. But we'll give you some surprises, and I think people will be pleasantly shocked when they see a set full of nothing but really hard rock and heavy metal and pop songs.
It's going to be brilliant.
Without a lot of stuff going on. There's no orchestras behind us or anything, so it's just a real rock band playing live.
Yeah. Well, I'm certainly looking forward to it, and it's the 11th of September, which I think is the day after your birthday, right?
Yep, it's absolutely right. September 10th.
Okay. Yeah.
It's pretty remarkable. Here I am on my birthday, touring in Europe in a van with another band, backline provided. Show up there. I'll do some interviews. I'll take some pictures. I'll hang out with the fans. We'll give you a blistering set, and then it's off to the next city. And it's
cool.
I think it's 12 shows in 13 days. No days off.
Yeah. 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 No.
So I better bring some tetracycline or erythromycin or some Z-Packs, bring some kind of medication in case anybody gets a cold or anything. But knock on wood that we're going to be in pretty good shape right there.
Yeah.
I remember in the old days touring around with Badlands, those guys would take my antibiotics. They eat them like chiclets every single day. I was wondering why, because back in the old days when you took medication, you couldn't drink, and those guys would be drinking a Brinks truck full of Mayberry RFD alcohol. So, nowadays, it's nice to be safe and focused and just bringing a good show every single night. And so we'll all be out there, and my guys are looking forward to coming to your country. Sweden's always been a beautiful place to play. Right. And I can't wait to share some of the songs off the new record along with our catalog to all the fans around the country. Don't know when the next time I'm going to be out there, so I hope people show up. No, that's true.
So, absolutely. Everybody should get down there. All right. Thank you, Chip. It was a pleasure talking to you and get a bit of those stories. I have a million questions, actually, but we might take that later. If I see you at the venue.
Yeah, if you come out to the show, I'll answer anything you want to talk about.
Yeah. All right. Take care, mate.
Thanks, Magnus. Appreciate talking to you. You look like my guitar player, Jason Camino, a little bit from the 30th row.
Yeah.
All right. God bless you and your country. See you soon.
Cheers. See ya.